Like, why do I care about these drunk guys talking about video games?
Hello, friends! Welcome to User Friendly. I am your co-host, Roberto Hoyos, and I'm here with my friend,
Ervan Elijah.
User Friendly is a web show that talks about technology, favorite stuff on the web, technology,
and web technology.
All sorts of stuff. Today is episode 71.
72.
72, I'm sorry.
I have proof right here.
Episode 72, so thank you for joining us, and we have a pretty awesome show.
I wouldn't even say pretty.
We have
It's gonna be awesome.
Show
Yep.
packed in today. So how are you?
I'm fantastic. I was telling Roberto earlier that I sprained my ankle for the first time. Have you ever sprained your ankle or hurt your feet?
Yeah, actually, when I was like 17, I think, my family did this big trip to Vegas, and I met up with a bunch of my cousins. One of them was like roughhousing in the hallway of a
roughhousing.
Yeah. I wasn't instigating this, but one of them basically tackled me in the hallway of the hotel.
Yeah.
I rolled my big toe, like broke it over, like basically like went like that.
Was it like going straight up?
Yeah.
Off your foot?
Like the joints of the big toe. Okay, so this is my big toe. It was broken in 4 parts, 2 on this side and 2 on this side. And so I was like in pain, but my dad nor my stepmom thought that I thought it was like a sprain or whatever. Right. And I was telling them the whole time I was in pain. My brother was cool enough to wheel me around in a wheelchair for the rest of the trip because we were on the Vegas Strip.
Wait, so you walk with a broken toe up and down the Vegas Strip?
Yes. And
oh my
so then when I get home, I'm like still in pain, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna just drive myself to the emergency room because I don't know what the hell is wrong. But I also drove a clutch, and so finally I was like,
as do I.
I was going to, I was like getting in the car. My sister is like, so what's going on? I was like, they don't want to take me to the hospital. I'm just gonna try to get there. And she's like, here, I'll take you. We go. I find out I have a broken toe, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, are you okay?" Like, and I'm like, "Dude, next time."
So you were like serious pain the whole trip.
Yeah, like maybe it was like the last couple days of the trip. Yeah.
Wow.
But they didn't want to stop drinking and gambling, so I didn't want to be a buzzkill.
Oh,
so yes, I've had some foot injuries in my past. But
that's so funny. I drive a clutch as well. And
6 months to heal, you know, no big
deal. Did it really? Yeah. Was it in like those like?
I had to wear a huge boot for 6 months. Yeah.
That is too funny. I mean, seriously, with parents, like if something happens to their kid and it doesn't look serious, they'd be like, "Oh, you're just
walk it off."
Yeah, walk it off. Just let me push that bone back in there, tape that guy up. I have a clutch as well, and like shifting gears when you have a sprained ankle is really tough.
Yeah.
And I was late for a bus the other day. I think it was like the day after it happened last week. Mm-hmm. And you know, when your ankle's sprained, there's really no way to rush. You just kind of have to like go the speed that you go. But the bus is pulling up, and I had to run across this busy street. Ooh. So I had to I call it turbo hobble because I'm like hobbling. But I'm like dragging my foot behind me. And I'm like the Hunchback of Notre Dame dragging my foot across the street.
That can't be good for your good foot.
It wasn't good, I don't think, for either of my feet. It hurt really bad, but I was so embarrassed because I was sure, because these people will see me at the bus stop pretty regularly. I was sure they were probably like, "What the hell is he doing?" Right? Yeah. And I'm like just lurching across this street, and I'm like acting like I'm moving really fast, but I'm going really slow.
Yeah.
Anywho, skis.
Just gotta get those crutches, man. Well, I hope that you get better by next show, maybe.
If not, I'll have a cane.
Yeah.
That'd actually be pretty awesome. I would totally use a cane.
Yeah, foot injuries suck.
Let's
take
talk
good
about
care of your feet, kids.
And your teeth.
Yes. They'll get you far in life.
That's your teeth.
Did you have braces?
No, I never had braces.
Neither did I.
But I know some people that don't take care of their teeth. And it's pretty gnarly.
You probably work with a lot of people that don't take care of their teeth.
You know, I know one person in particular who won't be named, that doesn't take the best care of their teeth.
I know who you're talking about.
Do you? And it's just like, how do you not like
somewhere along the line they just stopped giving a shit.
Because when someone really doesn't take care of their teeth, they look like Austin Powers from the 70s.
Yes, they do.
And their teeth are all like brown and discolored.
I wonder if it is very tender if they touch their gums.
So,
like if it's immediate shooting pain, like do you
just
think
comes out?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Like it's not like you can hide your teeth from people.
You know when you have like really like messed up brown action? I wonder if that hurts like to touch. I'm trying not to offend anyone here.
You got the messed up brown action on your teeth.
Anyway,
maybe you're right.
We're gonna go to the whitening station right after this.
I'm gonna brush with baking soda.
Get some
for like
self-esteem.
40 minutes after this episode. All right, let's talk about our show.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about this first. We talked a little bit about this on the Cultcast, in case you caught that episode, where I articulated poorly how I thought Apple was just getting beat up in the media. Mm-hmm. And they are. Like, everywhere you look, there's some, like, news agency or Samsung talking crap about Apple.
How they're on their way out.
Just, like, these ridiculous statements.
Like, they're equating... Like, the way that they're speaking about Apple right now is the way that they were speaking about Apple, like, in 1996. When they were on their last leg.
Yeah, you might be right. And not actually with, like, $1 zillion in the bank.
Right.
They do. They take a lot of crap right now, and it's funny to hear, like, the Samsung versus Apple people. Mm-hmm. Because especially by Samsung and people who love, like, Samsung phones, they talk really poorly about Apple. I'm like, regardless of what phone you like, both the companies are doing pretty well, especially Apple. But I wanted to bring up the very end of the D11 All Things D conference where Tim Cook spoke. And at the very end, I doubt very many people watched the whole thing from beginning to end. I did. And at the very end, they did a Q&A. And it was in this huge room full of press and probably people who just are involved in technology. And they got to get up and ask Tim Cook a question. Mm-hmm. And some of these people were, I mean, actually, all the ones I saw there were 3 or 4. These people just got up and they were insanely rude to Tim Cook. I mean, like, whether or not you like Apple, totally aside, the guy deserves respect regardless of whether or not you like Apple or not. Like,
what kind of stuff were they saying?
So, for example...
was it like tax stuff?
So one guy got up and he's like, Mr. Cook, I'd like you to tell me how Apple's still innovating, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And Tim Cook starts to speak. He's like, he also asked about social network stuff. And Tim Cook started talking about iMessage. And anytime Tim Cook would talk, this guy would interrupt him.
Really?
And be like, well, that's not really that cool because of this other thing. So, like, he'd be like, we have iMessage. And the guy is like, he's like, well, what about WhatsApp? And he's like, well, iMessage, is free to use and blah, blah. He goes, WhatsApp is platform to platform and it's free. He's just like interrupting him. I couldn't believe the nerve of this guy. And then
nobody would do that to Steve, dude.
No. I think that's one of Tim Cook's biggest problems is that he's very nice, which is what I respect about him. And he seems like he's really upstanding. But yeah, I mean like Steve Jobs would probably rip your sack off if you talked to him like that.
There is a famous keynote where somebody is really rude to Steve on stage. I don't know if you've seen this. It's from like when he first came back, and he basically like spins it so that the other guy kind of feels bad. But yeah, I mean, that's literally like one of the few times I've seen Steve like get attacked like that on stage. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he didn't have that kind of like, he wasn't going to take shit from people like that, Plus, it's just not even that. It's just like, do you have any respect for the people that are there, It's weird. When Steve came back, it was like a cult, right? So people were like booing at him on stage when he brought Bill Gates.
I remember that.
Like stuff like that. It was really thick. So it sounds like that was what was going on. All Things D.
I think you might be right because All Things D is a larger tech conversation, right? And Apple's a part of it. Not as it is where Apple throws WWDC, which is coming up, by the way, and they're the front and focus of the entire show. And then, do you know The Verge? Obviously, Nilay Patel. I think he's one of the co-founders of The Verge. Got up, and Nilay has a Juris Doctorate. So I'm not sure if he ever practiced law. But he could be a lawyer if he passed the bar. I don't know if he did or not. But he got up and he started asking, because he talks about a lot of legal stuff on The Verge. Yeah. And he immediately, right off the bat, super aggressive. I mean, just like, he started off his conversation by saying, Apple is really struggling right now. I don't know if you've looked at Samsung, but they can't seem to make things people don't want. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, I can think of a lot of Samsung products that people don't want. And so Tim starts kind of trying to have this conversation with them. And Eli's like, he's like, what are you trying to get from Samsung? Why do you keep suing them? Like, just really aggressive, Mm. And same thing. Every time Tim would try to answer, he would interrupt him. And just be like, he's like, I can't believe you're making that argument. Like, are you really trying to tell me blah, 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 blah? And I just could barely watch it because I just thought it was so distasteful.
Yeah.
And then there was one other guy who got up and he's like, when is Apple going to let us dream again?
What?
And he starts talking about all the projects that Google's working on that are really exciting and how Apple's not really pursuing a lot of those kinds of like avant-garde technologies. This is the point I tried to make in Cultcast, and I didn't drive it home very well. So I'm going to try and do it here because I want to hear what you have to think about it.
Go ahead.
I don't want Apple to chase all that crap.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem that Microsoft has. That's the problem that Google arguably has, is that they get all this money and they're chasing all these different things and trying to create these products, which I admire that Google is trying to make things that have never existed before. Mm-hmm. But I don't believe that Apple is in the same... I don't believe that Apple is trying to do what Google is doing by creating all these wildly different products, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, they're really good at creating computers, they're really good at creating phones, and I really would like to see them continue to focus on that and not just chase all these tech dream projects. You know what I mean?
I agree. And arguably Apple has never really done that. They've always been they're kind of like always had this mantra of like trying to get the tech to melt away so that you could, have a better experience in whatever it is you chose to do with it, I feel like the iPad and the iPhone are perfect examples of that, where the tech is supposed to like be not there, right? Because you can pick up an iPad, the only thing is just a screen, like that to me speaks volumes about, where they're going. And also, like, how much they could build upon that. I mean, it's just a blank slate for them to just keep building upon that technology. And it's in its infancy right now. People are, like, getting all up in arms. Tech people are getting up in arms. Regular people don't give a fuck, man. Like, people, they're content with what they have. Not even content. They love what they have, right?
Yeah, right. And like, I have a friend the other day who just got an iPad mini, and she has never owned an iPad, and she cannot stop talking about how much she loves it.
Regular people is who Apple is aimed at, which is great because they've opened the doors for a lot of innovation to spread, like for people to copy them, like Google and everybody else. Like Google wasn't doing a phone, everybody, before Apple did their phone, there's a lot of examples of Apple like paving the way and making this a consumer mainstream thing, I think people forget about that. Like, they're not in the business to please technology people. They're in the business to please regular consumer people, And that's the thing. It's like, dude, you can't have this argument about Apple versus Google for like, because they're doing Google Glass and Apple's not doing Glass,
Yeah, I agree.
It's just like they're not even in the same category.
No, it's like, and people were like, well, why are you going to try to compete with this? And Tim Cook's is like, no.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? It's like when Samsung releases a phone and they're like, oh, it has all these features that the iPhone doesn't have. And it's like, yes, there are a bunch of features that no one cares about, no one's ever going to use.
No one's ever going to discover.
And no one but tech people will ever think are cool. It's like the argument that I hear about people when they talk about, Google Plus and how it has all these great features.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, but people don't use something just because of how many cool features it has. Like, it has to be user-friendly. And so many other things, right? But it's Facebook is a lot of those things that Google Plus is not.
Yeah.
Like, intuitive to use. How many circles are you in? Do you know what a circle is?
I had to ask how...
I barely know!
I had to ask how you word that. I was like, do you say followers or circlers?
Right.
I'm circled.
I think it's just like groups of permission groups, honestly. It's like...
I like...
Your friends, you can see certain things of mine.
I've been getting more acquainted with Google Plus and with other Google products lately. And I think that they're good. And I think Google Plus actually does have some cool features. Just simple things like... I was on a website. I copied the link. When I go to Google Plus, it already asked me, "Do you want to use that link?" You know, or same thing with a photo. I think those features are cool. But I agree. The majority of people that aren't techie people are not even close to using Google Plus. They might not even have a Gmail account. You know, and they want to like keep using. Like the middle of the road people use Yahoo, dude, and like
and Hotmail, or Comcast,
or Comcast. Like it's the techie adopter people that use that kind of the Gmail, or maybe you set up your dad and mom with Gmail, you know, and that's why they use it, you know. But they didn't like find it on their own, you know. And unless you know your dad or mom is into tech, you know, but like arguably a lot of people are not, right?
Yeah, I don't think so either. I honestly don't think Google Glass is going anywhere.
Yeah,
I think Google Glass is as a hyper niche product for the techiest of the techie, and if it ever becomes popular, it will only be because whatever product it becomes is like way down the line a derivative of the original Google Glass.
Yeah.
No one is going to spend... The guy who's like, why don't you let people dream anymore? He was like, Google Glass has sold, has gotten 10,000 people to pay $1,500.
10,000 people.
To alpha test or beta test Google Glass. And I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of rich people out there who are into tech who want to pay for Google Glass.
Yeah.
The question is, can they sell 10 to 20 million of them for $1,500? Absolutely, without a doubt. Not a chance. 99.999%. No one wants those things for $1,500.
I wonder what Steve Jobs would have done right now with all the flack that they're getting. Or if it would have even been... Let's say Steve Jobs was still alive and Apple was still getting beat up. I wonder if he would have just like open letter to everybody. We're making fat stacks. Shut the fuck up. Like seriously. Like I wonder if he would have...
picture him in a bathtub with all the money.
I mean, really, like... Money means that people like them, you know?
Yeah, right.
Like, do you need much more like than
apparently
that?
they do.
I mean,
it's been a long time since Apple has released a product, and I think this is one of the reasons why we're seeing all of this like vitriolic like talk about them is because they haven't released anything in almost 232 days. Which I know that number specifically because by the time WWDC comes up, that's how long it would have been.
Yeah.
That's the longest they've ever gone without releasing a new product.
It's because they're doubling down on secrecy, y'all.
Y'all, that's right. I would say they tripled down. I mean, Tim Cook was right when he said that. And then immediately after, everyone started hearing about the new iPhone. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, he's failing. And now look, nothing. No. We know hardly anything about what they're about to do.
Man. Everything. The only speculation is because of it being... Yeah, it has to be time for them to do this, right?
If you put up all the analysts that are out there in a room and lock them up for 2 weeks, we would hear nothing about rumors. Because these guys are coming up with these wild ideas about things that are coming up.
Wasn't there like a ring? Like you put rings on? Like,
yeah, that's right. Because remember Stephen Biercock?
You gotta be ashamed of yourself.
Stephen Biercock had that ring.
Seriously, you're just grasping at straws, man.
Buster, my cult cask compatriot, did a piece on Cult of Mac about how accurate one of the I think it was Peter Misek, how accurate he's actually been on things that he's predicted, and he has a horrendous record. Yeah. Like he's never right. He like says all these things are coming out, and he's never accurate,
dude. It's a joke job. It's like because they all work for like the big news and newspapers, right? And they have
they work for analyst firms, yeah.
And they have to have somebody that does that crap, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because Apple's a popular company, but how do they know what the hell's going to happen?
They say they check their supply chain. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, obviously that's working really well for you. I think Apple's on the right course. You know, Tim Cook was very measured in his speech, and dude, he kept his cool because I was getting angry. And I mean, imagine if I was on stage and I was getting asked those questions, I probably would have gotten pissed.
I think because like Steve had that like Doberman Pinscher look on his face. Like, if you screw with me, like you're gonna get it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You'll never be here again. You'll be blackballed forever. You know what I mean? Like that kind of look, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody's gonna be like, so Steve, blah blah blah. You know? It's like
because he could be.
I don't want to say.
Right? Mr. Jobs, I love you. Thank you for letting us dream.
iPhone here.
Yeah, I have an iPhone. I'm gonna back away slowly now. Well, I think that what Tim Cook was trying to do is just be like, you know, we're concentrating on products, and the way they're gonna respond is they're going to come out with a product that's really awesome.
Yeah.
That's what they have to do, right? I mean, there's really nothing they can say or do to quiet down any of this ridiculous banter that's happening. They just have to come out with a really good product.
Yeah.
And then everyone will be like, oh, Apple does it again.
Yeah.
They have the, the iScreen or whatever they release next.
No, it's going to sell like crazy, and then people are going to pick it apart and say how they failed.
Yeah, probably.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's very true. That's what happens with every product, though. When there's so much...
I think the original iPhone got beat up like crazy.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't think that you can make anyone happy. Like, it's the idea of a product that excites them, and once it actually comes out, they're talking about all the things they don't like. Like the Xbox One, which to me looks like an amazing new video game console. Mm-hmm. And you have all these websites just trashing it. Trashing it. And for whatever reason, I have no idea why. I think it looks awesome. Yeah. And I don't know, it has too many TV features for you. Like, this thing plays video games too well.
It hooks up to a television.
Yeah. I'm so pissed. We should move on.
Right. But yeah, dude, it's broken record. It's always been that way. People, the original iPhone came out, I remember, and people were like, there's already phones that do email and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's not about that. It's the way it does it.
Yes. Yes, it is the way in which it does it and the ecosystem that exists around it.
Yeah.
That really makes it awesome. So you're going to make me or show me some iPhone enhancement apps or iPhone photo enhancement apps.
Yes, sir.
Because you've been using some lately.
Yeah, so I was telling you recently, I actually got some really great tips from a YouTuber, Savvy Sexy Social. They do like social media tips and stuff like that for like kind of improving your social media presence and stuff like that. And I recently ran across one that I thought really resonated with me because recently I've been using a lot of what's it called, Instagramming for just like my projects, like the Kickstarter project, for example. And one of the things I like to do, especially on Kickstarter, is I would like to do more of this, is do text over photos. So like, for example, like a website or a URL or something like that. Because you can't link outside URLs on Instagram. So it's like the best thing I can do is like have a big old call to action, Right. So here's an example. If you want to record this, I'll show you. I did this recently.
Okay, ready.
So I took this picture from my Kickstarter video and put 24 hours left and then put the Kickstarter URL.
Right.
And so something like this would take me a while if I didn't have an app for it, right? Like I'll show you a similar one I did. Let me find it. And I had to do this with Photoshop. So let me find it. Where are you? I did it for a sale because there was like the best. I get a lot of engagement on Instagram. Okay, so here we go. So I had this sale. So the same idea, right? It's just like big blocky text and like some sort of call to action, like 10% off, and then it has like the big Etsy. This took me a while, right? I didn't do this, but basically it involved taking a picture, taking that picture, like emailing that picture, then putting it in Photoshop, and then putting figuring out how big an Instagram picture was, cropping it, then putting the text in, saving it, and then uploading it to Instagram. So since then, I found a couple good photo apps that will help with this. So this is the one I like. It's called A Beautiful Mess, and it's really simple. Basically, what you do is you find a picture. So let's say I want this picture. Right? And then you get some options that you can do with it. So it automatically crops it as a square. And then it gives you a bunch of like little doodly options that I don't really use. Oh no, it does filters.
Everything does filters now.
And like little like kind of doodle crap that I don't really use. But the one thing I do use is the text. So really easily I could be like throwboy or throwboy.com. And then it just does an overlay of that, and I can change the color so it's more visible. And I'll just like put that right there. And then I could add another one if I wanted to.
Wow.
I usually just keep it really simple, like black and white, you know, because there are pictures that exist on Instagram that are just like big blocky text, you know,
right.
and some image. It could be like a landscape image. It could do whatever, right? And then, okay, I'm done. All done. And then I can send it to Instagram after that. So
it goes right to Instagram?
Instagram.
Cool.
So I really like this.
Bourgeoisie.
Basically, it's like super easy because it should be really easy to add text to a photo.
Totally.
You know?
Uh-huh.
And I often need it for the things that I do. Otherwise, it's just a picture, and nobody really knows where they can get that or where, you know, where.
Yeah, there's a lot of photo apps like that where you think it would be really easy to do, and then you try to do it in Photoshop, even if you even have Photoshop, and it's like it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
So to have something like that would do all that quickly is actually really handy.
And then there's one more that I want to show you, and this one is called iWatermark. Mm-hmm. So the same thing, except it's specifically for putting watermarks over your photos. So I selected a photo, and I'm gonna choose a watermark graphic. So you could put in your own, which is great because that's something I would want, like a little Throwboy logo, maybe. I don't know. And let's see, watermarks, or they have ones that are already there for you. So let's just say, for speed, I'll just use this one, and then I can just like size that down and put like a little C right there. And it's like super easy, you know. I can turn it. So something like that, where it should be really easy to just like slap in a logo, you would have to like take the picture, download the picture, put it in
especially
Photoshop,
on an iPhone, yeah.
Put it on the watermark, put in opacity, like all that crap. It's just like boom, done, share, you know. So those two are ones I like. A Beautiful Mess and iWatermark, and this is the free version, so I'm just kind of playing with it right now. And then there's one more called Over, which is a really good one too, that allows like way more text features than the one I just showed you.
Awesome.
So
cool. If you like photo stuff too, I've been using VSCO Cam. I think it's called Visco Cam. I think it's like $2 or $3. Really good photo app for iPhone. Really great filters that make your images look like they've been processed via film.
Oh, cool.
It was one of the ones that with hearts. He was a guy that we had on the Cultcast. He has like 220,000 Twitter followers. One of the ones that he recommended, and it's become one of my favorite.
Instagram followers?
Yes. What did I say?
Twitter.
Yeah, he doesn't have that many Twitter followers, although he should. It's one of the ones that he recommended, and it's one of the ones that I've been using, and it's probably one of my favorite photo apps now.
Yeah, dude, the iPhone's photo apps are really awesome.
They are.
Did
you hear?
They just improved the crap out of the iPhone, dude.
Did you hear that the Chicago Chicago Sun-Times?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
This is nuts.
Before we move on to our last story,
I just heard about it.
They fired all of their professional photography staff in lieu of having their writers use their iPhones to take pictures, which I just think is crazy. I mean, the iPhone is a good camera, and it's really handy that you can upload everything right to the web from this. And in certain situations, this would be enough.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to take a picture from far away, when you're trying to take a good picture of somebody, oh my gosh! I mean, doing it with this is just insane.
That's crazy. Like, so, you know, a month from now, we're going to have the Chicago Sun-Times newspaper with a bunch of shit pictures inside of it. Like,
well, maybe it's because newspaper photos are so low resolution. But I don't know, man. I mean, there's a lot of things about photography that even if you have good gear.
Yeah, not even the res. I'm just thinking like the composition of the photo, right?
I did a photo shoot today, earlier today, and I was taking some pictures of my friend's family. And it was really sunny outside, and we're trying to put up like a shade to take pictures of them. And they set up the scene, and I walked over there, and like without even having to have any gear or anything, I'm like, this isn't going to work because I can just tell from looking at it the difference in light between the foreground and background. It's just not going to work. We're going to have to change this. Those are little things that a photographer would know. And somebody with an iPhone, it doesn't matter what gear you have. It's like that's the kind of information you either know or you don't.
Yeah,
it just ends up you end up taking bad photos no matter what gear you have if you don't know what you're doing.
That's a big mistake in my opinion. Like, I mean, you know, my sister was a newspaper reporter.
Yeah.
And so I kind of overhear things a lot. And I mean, you know, one of the things is like they made everyone get on Twitter, you know, all that kind of stuff. Where it's just like, you can't just like plug this hole, you know, like, oh, we just need to
everyone needs to be on Twitter.
Yeah,
go.
Just like everyone go do that. Everyone, oh, you guys you know what? The iPhone's a good enough camera now. Okay, photos are obsolete. We just need you guys to do it, you know? And it's really...
Photos are obsolete.
Yeah.
Everyone get your iPhone.
It's really weird, though, because when I got interviewed for NPR for my Kickstarter, right? And the guy who was interviewing me was like, hey, would you mind? I need to take a picture of you. And I was like, no, go right ahead. You know, I'll end up using it anyway, you know? And I was talking to him, I was like, oh, so they're having you do pictures and the audio now too, and right? And he's like, yeah, and they're gonna want me to do video too, is what they're trying to get me to do. And I was like,
wow.
Yeah, dude. I was like, what kind of quality video are you gonna get for this? Like, they're just trying to they're trying to compete with the fact that blogging is like so fast, you know? It's like there's always new content. But like, are you gonna get any good quality stuff if like your reporter is forced to do like photos now and write and do video?
Yeah, man.
Video, like you're gonna get
it's
some
tough doing it all
video,
yourself.
dude.
You are, and there's websites like The Verge who are doing the exact opposite, where they're spending a ton of money producing really good videos.
Yeah, and it shows.
And it really shows, and people love their videos for that reason.
I think content is good, and I think that, you know, having more of it can be good, but have people that are good at it. You know what I mean? Don't just like just throw out everybody and be like, okay, you're gonna be the expert at all of this.
You are now the expert at these things.
They're gonna have a lot of annoyed people that are like, oh great, now I'm the photographer too. You know?
Right. And they're like, by the way, we're gonna drop your salary $10,000 a year.
Plus, dude, like, even if they are gonna hire, like, from this point forward, you know, going forward, we're just gonna hire like these jack of all trades. Like, no one's gonna be that good at any of those things. Right?
Yeah, no, people are usually only good at one or two things.
Yeah,
because that's the one or two things they spend their time doing.
Yeah,
and guys who make videos aren't necessarily the guys who should be in the videos, and vice versa.
And people that make video sometimes aren't even good photographers, and vice versa.
Yeah, videography and photography are two different. Yeah, they're definitely two different art forms. They're related, but I mean, I'm a pretty good photographer. I'm decent, but you wouldn't want to make your short film for you. Mm-hmm. You know, like that. They're just totally different things. Because I know how to use my photography equipment really well, but video adds a whole moving element. And not to mention, and now all of a sudden you're dealing with sound. Yeah. And sound in itself is an art form. Yeah. You know, it's like, God. There are guys who just do that. It's like, what do you do? I'm the sound guy. He's always carrying around the big rod, right? With the microphone at the end of it. And that's all he does is sound.
Yeah, it's not going to get solved just because of like a high-tech phone or whatever, or high-tech equipment. You know, you gave me your camera. You think I'm going to take awesome pictures?
Yeah. No. Oh, I know. That's it doesn't bother me. But one of the big jokes in photography is when you take a good picture and people say, oh, your camera is really good. And you're like, that may very well be true. Yeah. But as I illustrated earlier with the whole lighting example, like there's a lot of other things that go into it. And I don't know, that's like if you heard a guy who is really good at guitar, you're like, whoa, dude, your guitar is making you sound great. Yeah. And you're like,
what kind of guitar does
Jimmy
Page have? Yeah. Let me just go get one of those.
Yeah, right. And I'm going to be shredding like no other's business. Like, that's not how it works. We need to practice for like 10 years to get this good. Okay, let's move on to our last story. By the way, if our audio dies, we'll just change the battery in real time because our mixer is looking like it's low on juice. Oh no! So this is a product that I saw recently that I thought was really cool. Mm-hmm. I love when products come out that integrate with your iPhone, your iOS device, and make and give you a new device that you get to use, you know, with your iOS device. I should say a new experience. Mm-hmm. I recently tested a scale that was a Wi-Fi enabled scale, and it interacted with your iOS device, and it was super cool. And it's just like a smart scale. So this is a smart lock. It's called the August lock. If you've been watching for a while, we talked about Lockatron ages ago. Yeah, months ago. Which is basically this little box that you put onto your regular deadbolts, and then you can control who gets to get into your house with your iPhone. And when you come on to your network, it unlocks your door for you. How cool is that, right? Like, you don't need to carry a key to get in your house. This is another one, and this looks really awesome. So let's play the video. And the industrial design on this looks like the business.
This is you. That is your home. This is your front door, and that is the lock on that front door. These are the people you let inside your home. the dog walker, the plumber, your 2 out-of-town friends, your little brother, and her. These are the 2 people you never let inside that door. One's a professional cat burglar. The other, your insane drunk ex-housemate. This one doesn't think he needs a key. And that one still has one. Let's face it, you don't have time to open the door for everyone. You can't actually, which is precisely why you have August. August is the lock that requires no key, only an invitation. An invitation that you can give and take away whenever you please. Keyless, codeless, and completely secure, August minds your entry when you cannot. You'll be alerted when your invitee arrives, and you'll know precisely when he leaves.
Or when he opens the door.
No more racing home to let your out-of-town guests in. No more having to ask for keys back. Your lock recognizes you automatically and opens without you having to do a thing. And for your friends, you just create an invitation and press send. Grant access for a day, or a night, or a week, even a month. And take that access away whenever you like.
My stuff's still
August isn't connected to your wireless router or even your electrical service, so there's no risk of downtime or system failure. Plus, you can always still open your door the old-fashioned way if you like. You just don't have to. Secure, seamless, simple. August.
Available
You're invited.
in June.
$200.
Is it available in August?
I hope so. If not, then they missed a serious marketing opportunity there.
Interesting.
What did you think about that?
It's pretty slick. I like the fact that they said it's not connected to your Wi-Fi or electricity.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. So I know it runs off battery power.
So that means, like, does Lockatron go down if you, like, cut your Wi-Fi? It's like, doop.
Well, I know that
Get right
with
in.
Lockatron,
I guess it would be
actually, I
locked.
take that back. That's a great question.
Because, yeah.
If it doesn't connect to your Wi-Fi...
Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. Because you could be anywhere and you could turn it on and off as long as you just have a cell phone service, right? For either one, I think.
I mean, is it connected to... That's actually an interesting question.
Yeah, where is it connected to?
What is it connected to?
Yeah.
Because the battery power, obviously, that makes sense. But how do you set permissions? Does that mean you need to be near it to set permissions? Because that would suck.
Maybe it's something that they're doing with, like, a server type thing, you know?
But then it would still need to connect to the internet via Wi-Fi.
Yeah, okay, I don't know. Or
Interesting.
you're paying a monthly thing.
Maybe it can connect to, like, the internet, but it doesn't need to be connected to the internet.
So is it proximity with Bluetooth or something like that?
Maybe, or it could be... That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, the reason I'm excited about it is because this is the future of locks.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, everyone's going to be carrying one of these around eventually. And, I mean, the Japanese already do this. I mean, this lets them buy stuff. So why not allow you to get into your house, maybe even your car? Like, you get into your car with your phone. It's like, oh, your car recognizes your phone's in there.
Yeah.
Maybe you, like, scan your thumb and your car starts.
Yeah, I mean... You know, every time I leave the house, I'm always like keys, wallet, phone.
Right.
Right, and I always do that. But I've lost my wallet before. I've lost my keys before, but I never lost my phone before. Like, I don't know why, but I think that my phone is like, I feel like I'm constantly like touching it or something, right? Where
Yeah.
I'm not really like at risk of losing it. So
That's true.
I would
I've never
love
lost
to have
my phone before either.
I would love to have like my wallet and stuff. I mean, it sounds scary, but I mean, you know, we're kind of moving there, so it's like
I don't know. I mean, if someone can't get into your phone to get into your house, plus they don't even know where you live, it's like if you use this to get into your house. I mean, how cool would it be just to walk up to your door, your phone connects to your network, so it automatically knows that you're approaching and unlocks your door for you.
That'd be great, because how many times are you like, oh, like fumbling with your stupid keys? Like,
Yeah, and like why should you need to remember to unlock and lock your door? Like, it should just do it automatically.
I mean, how often do you leave and you're like, did I lock, or did I even lock my car? I think about that, you know.
Or you leave and you accidentally lock yourself out, which happens to me sometimes. You're like I took my dog outside to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, the door slammed. You know, that split second before your door closes, and you're like, I don't have my key, and then it closes.
Yeah.
But I almost always have my phone with me.
This one looks really cool. I wonder if they were working on it before Lockatron. I'm just happy that there's more of these. You know what I mean? Like it looks like it's like moving in a good direction as far as new options for us to use for locks. And this is like techie crowd, but imagine when this becomes like you can go to Home Depot and get something like that, you know?
Well, I mean, I think these will probably be available at home. These look really svelte,
they
too.
Look really cool,
They look great.
Right?
They're very well designed.
Like that, it looks like a Demolition Man or something. Like, you know,
it
like
does.
Very like future-y and stuff.
I like how the light like comes on. Okay, it works via Bluetooth.
Interesting. Yeah, see, I guess it wouldn't need to do Wi-Fi, right? Because you program it, you say, okay, I want John, Sue, and Bill to be able to come in. And if they have Bluetooth on, it recognizes their phone and then they come in, right?
This is an interesting...
It's different than I'm away, I'm here, and I'm like, did I lock up? You know, it's different than that, right? I guess.
Yes, I think so. You know, it's interesting. There are several devices that I've tested, and normally you have to pair a Bluetooth device. I don't think that you would have to pair this, but you just like open the app and the device is always like ready to like connect. So as soon as you open like their special app, then it would automatically, you know, like know who you were.
Well, because every phone has its own unique Bluetooth.
Yeah, and its own unique like hardware. But the thing I don't like about this is if it only works via Bluetooth. What if I was, you know, you're coming to stay at my house, I'm gone, and you're like, oh, I can't get in. And I was like, oh shoot, like I set it up for tomorrow. If it was Wi-Fi, I would be able to like change it on the fly. Whereas now I'm like, dude, better go to the coffee shop because I have Bluetooth to the device, and I can't do that till I get home.
Yeah, it seems really odd, right? That it wouldn't.
Yeah.
I guess that it probably saves a lot of power, and it probably, well, actually, I don't know, maybe it would, but then, yeah, you're right. It's like it's not a remote at that point, right?
Yeah, it's just not as really. It's not really as handy as it could be.
Like the Lockatron has that kind of remote features to it.
Does it really?
Yeah, because
so this doesn't include like the web functionality.
Right. Like the Nest can do that, you know, where you're like here and you're like, oh, I want to make sure when I get home it's like this temperature.
Yeah, like it connects to the cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that really is what I'd like to see out of this device.
And this, I think it's more expensive than the Lockatron.
How much is the Lockatron?
Like $169 or $179.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Lockatron, yeah, because this is $200. I mean, I kind of let's see, $179. Wow. Yeah, lock your door from anywhere in the world. The Lockatron has a lot of like Apple features built into it. So I mean, even like notifications that you'll get when your door is like open and unopen.
Well, that one does it too.
Well, wait a second. Okay, there has to be a wireless function to this.
Why?
Because if it doesn't connect to your Wi-Fi, then how would it notify you?
Yeah. That's a weird wording. They should have just not even said anything because now we're really confused. Like, how does that
now I'm super confused because it's like you'll know when your butler comes in and leaves. It's like, okay, well, if this doesn't connect to the Wi-Fi, how does it know?
Maybe it's under like features.
Features, design, Bluetooth. August works independent of your wireless. Okay. This is really confusing.
Yeah. Read what it says. It doesn't.
August works independent of your wireless or phone networks. Reliable Bluetooth technology syncs your phone directly with your August lock. This is really weird.
It just says.
And yet, if you're not home, it lets you know somehow that somebody's come in. It has to connect to Wi-Fi.
Bluetooth email, dude.
But I didn't get it. Well, you weren't in range. That's not our fault. Well, you're like, I was 100 miles away. Well, that's why it doesn't work, stupid. Bluetooth doesn't have that kind of range. If you were in your bedroom, you would have gotten the email.
Bluetooth email.
August lock. If the Bluetooth goes down, all your doors are automatically unlocked. and a text message is sent out to everyone you know, letting them know that they need to go to your house, which is unlocked, and lock it. Interesting.
It's like a Jurassic Park lock.
All right, cool. Well, that's all we got for this show.
Cool.
We should probably wrap it up before our battery dies.
You know that it's almost over when I'm already like this low.
Eventually, all you'll see are Roberto's glasses floating right above the frame. That's it, and his nose. Cool. Okay. So, hey, if I wanted to learn more about you and your pillars, what would I go to do that?
You can find me on Twitter. It's just at Roberto Hoyos, RobertoHoyos. And for all the pillars, throwboy.com. What about you?
I'm at Airfun on Twitter. And if you are coming to us from Blip or from some other avenue and have never listened to the Cultcast, give that a listen if you like Apple stuff. That's just thecultcast.com. Mm-hmm. And of course, you can always subscribe to us on iTunes. We have both audio and video.
Should we read iTunes?
That actually is a great idea.
or maybe save it for the next show.
Let's save it for the next show. Okay. Actually, yeah,
leave us an iTunes review if you like.
Yeah, if you like our show, and if you are leaving us iTunes reviews in a country that's not the U.S., tweet them or email them to us. Just tweet them at us. That's easier. So that way we know that they're there. Because honestly, we don't see them otherwise.
Mm-hmm. And like us on Facebook.
Yeah, give us one of those. And all right, I think that's it. YouTube.com/user-friendly show.
And that's it.
That's it for the end roll.
All right. And we will catch you
guys
all on the flip time.
On the flip time. Oh, wait, no.